We know why Israel would want Ismail Haniyeh dead. We know why, as peace-loving and true God-fearing people of the world, would support Israel in their endeavor. But is that the only reason why Ismail Haniyeh today may be laying in his grave? I believe not. Actually, there is another third and possibly fourth likely suspects in the last assassination that we've seen of the Hamas leadership, which was that happened to Ismail Haniyeh, the political leader of Hamas in Tehran, while in a safe house after attending the inauguration of the new president of Iran. Let us explore two main other suspects other than Mossad. And we are not removing the possibility, we are not trying to pour mud or water on the possibility of Mossad having such skill that they could orchestrate such an effective attack, limited with just a small explosive in possibly the bedroom where Ismail Haniyeh was to spend the night after that inauguration. We know, having listened to the different analysis online already, that Ismail Haniyeh liked spending, residing in that particular safe house that was constructed and managed by the Islamic, the Republican Guard that reports to the highest authority in Iran. That's a place where, that's at least one of the places where Iran housed its guests who needed, or they felt that they needed higher security coverage. It is in a posh area of Tehran. Now, how Mossad could have just infiltrated there, set up an explosive device 2 months before Haniyeh actually came to reside there, waiting for him to come for the inauguration, it's amazing. It's amazing, to say the least. Yeah? While it is possible, because if the analyses are correct, that Haniyeh, every time he visited Tehran, and he did that quite often, would spend, he would reside in that particular place, then possibly Mossad could have, said the next time he comes, he will find the explosive. Not necessarily knowing that he would be invited for the inauguration. That is a possibility. Nonetheless, for me, there still remains quite a few variables in that possibility. This is a safe house run by the Republican Guard that reports to, the Khomeini, the Ayatollah Khomeini. These are people who are, they are professionals. They are not just a gang of ragtag youth throwing, petrol bombs at posts. These are properly trained security agents who disciplined, well-equipped, well-financed. The possibility that they could miss such an explosive, there must have been some screening, some searching done in preparation to host Haniyeh when he came for the inauguration. How that was missed is incredible to me. Yeah, of course, unless there was an inside job. And I have seen today earlier in the morning that the Iranian government has arrested a few suspect military officials, senior officials, who it's claiming were responsible for the security of that installation and of Haniyeh. We will see how that goes. Nonetheless, to say that Mossad has infiltrated a specialist military setup such as that of Iran, which was protecting Haniyeh, is putting a lot of credit on Mossad. And for me, frankly, there's too many variable, weak areas that I'm not very sure that plan would have succeeded the way it did. So other than Mossad, and we are not removing Mossad from, we are not saying it's impossible. We are just saying there are other possibilities as we consider this thing. Who could those be? I believe in both other possibilities that I'm about to share with you, Iran is a chief suspect in both of them. The first one, the Iranian government itself wanting possibly to provoke an attack, a coming attack in the near future, and we shall see this. They sought for a viable reason to provoke that attack. We know they are the enemies of Israel. They have plainly stated it. They support, Hezbollah, all these terror organizations that want to destroy Israel. That's true. But they need an incident to provoke an attack. And possibly they might have landed on Haniyeh. After all, according to their religious faith, he is only going to meet his 70 virgins where Muhammad is, in hell actually. And then given the fact that this is a new regime, and if you remember about a month ago, I did a video talking about the Hamas leader, Yahya Sinwar, asking where is Yahya Sinwar? And we linked that also to, his escaping Gaza Strip, to a possibility that it could have caused friction between him and the then government of Iran, headed by President Raisi, who was killed in a chopper crash. Now that this is a new government, a new regime, possibly with, more hardline, we are yet to see, but possibly more hardline, even than President Raisi himself. Could it be that they did not want, could it be that Ismail Haniyeh, who has now just been eliminated, was not so keen on going the full hog with this now new hardline regime, and therefore became the perfect target? Maybe they said, these are terrorists. This is not a regular government, the way we would think about it, especially not in the West. They'd say, this old man has possibly, he's lost the edge. He's now not as useful as he was when he was doing the full political leadership. Let's give him a send-off. Let's make him a martyr. Yeah, that will be more useful as a martyr, and useful to their cause, which is to attack to attack Israel. So, is that a possibility? Yeah, I think so. To me, it seems already that the Iranian government is very keen on painting themselves as a victim. Yeah, all the red flags. I even don't know when. You tell me, put it in the comments. When was a red flag last raised, as a sign of a pending revenge mission that would come because of the death of one of the senior leaders, either of Iran or of their partners, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the rest? When was a red flag last raised? To me, actually, I can't remember. Yeah, put it in the comments. I think those are just signs to show us. And today, now they are arresting their own military, senior military staff, and they're even announcing it. It seems to me that Iran is overly eager to paint themselves as a victim. If you remember, initially they said it was an aircraft that shot a missile into where Ismail Haniyeh was residing that night. Then, of course, that became unpalatable. The evidence, the photo evidence and everything, it was just apparent that this was maybe a small explosive, possibly planted in his room to take out 1 or 2 or 3 people who might have been in the room with him. So why that rush of the Iranian government to paint themselves as victims? It's, to me, that's why I'm saying it is possible they want to use. They were using slaughtering their own friend as the launching pad for a particular attack, possibly coordinated with what Hezbollah wants to do, and the other terrorist people who have surrounded the nation of Israel. Just as it is said in Zechariah chapter 12. By the way, read it. Yeah, you'll be amazed, yeah, that Judah is surrounded on all sides. We've seen it already in the UN and ICJ, ICC. They are surrounded. But this is is this a continuation of what is described in that Zechariah chapter 12? I believe that's a likely possibility. Another one, yeah, is that Yahya Sinwar, the head of Hamas, having fled from the Gaza Strip. And personally, I believe, Yahya is a wicked person, he's evil, he's satanic. You can put all those names to him. One thing he's not daft. To have set up, the military, the tunnels and all that, to have headed such an organization, daftness would not be a quality that I would put to him. So I don't think he would just sit in the Gaza Strip knowing full well that Israel, upon its exerting its military might, its intelligence, its superior technology against the Hamas, that they would, knowing full well they would not survive. He'd leave, his second in charge who was eliminated the other day, and other top figures, brothers, sisters, whatever. But he possibly would flee to fight another day. That's what I've said in that video, where is Yahya Sinwar. Now, if indeed Yahya Sinwar escaped the Gaza Strip, his one of the likely locations would be in Iran. Yeah. And now tie that with that where I said in that video that they eliminated President Raisi because he possibly had a softer stance, a softer way forward to destroying Israel than that Hamas and the more radical, regime that possibly has now taken over had. And so that power struggle is possibly still continuing now, because even if Iran wanted to eliminate Ismail Haniyeh as has happened, they would have had to get approval of the rest of the Hamas structure, even if they are the ones who support and build up Hamas. They don't want to fight the friends of their own friends, So they might have had to they possibly have gotten the approval of Sinwar. Why would Sinwar give Iran the approval to eliminate Ismail Haniyeh? Most likely because when Sinwar was in the Gaza Strip, he likely had limited access to the rest of the terrorist networks and systems that were outside the Gaza Strip. Those possibly might have been under the management of Ismail Haniyeh. For Sinwar now to escape and come into Iran, he possibly found, yes, the networks are there, they're operating well, but they are now not under his control. They bow and they jump to Ismail Haniyeh's command. And therefore, Yahya, wanting to wrestle back, and we know Yahya is a ruthless leader, terrorist leader, he probably would have said, okay, Iran, I agree with you. You have something to benefit. You launch the attack based on this one. I also want Israel to be attacked because my days are numbered. Where I can go, he must know that his days are numbered. Israel is hunting for him. The coalition that is with Israel is hunting for him. So he doesn't have many options. I'd like to exert, he probably say, I'd like to exert one last, proper blow, either take out Israel or a proper one that I will be remembered that, when he goes to heaven, he might, to their crazy satanic heaven, he might be given, 100 virgins instead of, which again is punishment. But yeah, that's a discussion for another day. You understand, he wants to orchestrate a major attack on Israel with his numbered days. So he probably gave Iran the approval to do so. On the other hand, he would take care of his internal power wrangles with Yahya controlling the network because he was away having limited access to them, and therefore now regaining control of the Hamas terrorist group, and of course making himself a bigger mystical figure, a more powerful person in the eyes of his terror brothers and sisters. So we will see what happens. I believe those are the two likely ones: internal power wrangles, and with the approval of Iran, have Ismail Haniyeh, his internal competitor for power, for leadership in the Hamas group, take it back by eliminating Haniyeh, or Iran itself, seeing that they have exhausted the usefulness for their ideology of Haniyeh, get approval from Yahya to eliminate him. Those are, I think, the two likely scenarios. And for me, I would put those before I came to the Mossad scenario as my third possibility of who has assassinated Ismail Haniyeh. Let's reflect on those ideas up to there. Until next time, shalom and victory to the nation of Israel, God's inheritance.